The rain tapped gently against the window panes, a soft rhythm echoing the tension that clung to the air between us. We sat in silence in the living room, not from comfort, but from the weight of words left unsaid. What began as a simple disagreement, something trivial, really, about how we'd spend the evening, had spiraled out of control like it always did. We never fought about just one thing. Every argument carried echoes of older wounds, ones we never healed, just buried beneath sarcasm and silence. I tried, again, to explain how her words cut me, how being dismissed over and over made me feel invisible in my own relationship. But she wasn't really hearing me. She never did. Her arms were folded tightly across her chest, her expression already closing the door on the conversation. Her eyes were far away, like she'd already decided I wasn't worth listening to. And then, with a scoff that stung more than any scream, she muttered, "You take everything so personally." I stayed calm, not because I wasn't angry, but because I didn't want to fall into the same trap, another yelling match that would fix nothing. I told her, with quiet steadiness, that respect isn't optional. It's not something you get to withhold when it's inconvenient for you. And she laughed, not a light-hearted laugh, but one of those careless, dismissive chuckles that land like a slap. Then she said it, words that sliced through the room like cold steel. "You really think you're the only one I could be with?" Her voice was casual, like it was some throwaway line, but I felt the truth in it. She wasn't angry. She wasn't trying to wound me. She was just being honest, brutally, recklessly honest. I didn't reply at first, not because I didn't understand her, but because I finally did. That wasn't a moment of rage. That was a glimpse into how she really saw me. And in that moment, everything became clear. I thought of all the times I'd brushed off her sarcasm, told myself she didn't mean it, convinced myself that she had her own way of showing love. But this wasn't cruelty. This was indifference. And indifference is far worse. She stood and walked to the kitchen, completely unaffected, as if nothing had happened. I heard the refrigerator door creak open, the clink of a glass, water pouring. Meanwhile, I sat motionless, letting the weight of reality settle into my bones. When she returned, I lifted my eyes to hers and asked softly, "What did you mean by that?" She shrugged, not missing a beat. "I'm just saying I have options." It wasn't about jealousy. It wasn't about love. It was about power. She wanted me to know I was replaceable, that I should feel lucky to be kept around. But something inside me shifted then, snapped clean without noise or drama. I stood, not with anger, but with something sharper. Clarity. I met her gaze and said calmly, "If I'm not your only choice, maybe you should go find out who else is out there." She blinked. For the first time, she looked uncertain. Maybe once I needed her more than she needed me. But not anymore. That part of me had died, quietly somewhere in all those forgotten arguments and nights. I fell asleep, wondering what I was doing wrong. I packed a few essentials. She didn't try to stop me. Her arms were loose at her sides now, no more walls, just shock. "You're actually leaving?" she asked, like the idea had never even crossed her mind until that second. "I'm not angry," I replied gently. "I'm just done begging to be treated like I matter. I deserve more than being someone's backup plan." At the door, I paused once. Not for her, but for me. Respect isn't something you win by holding a hostage. It's something you give freely. And you never have. Then I walked out. No slamming doors. No dramatic exit. Just quiet finality. That night, I felt everything: grief, uncertainty, a little fear. But beneath it all, I felt something new. Something clean. Relief. Because I hadn't just left someone who couldn't value me. I had chosen to value myself. I had walked away from a situation that taught me what I was worth by showing me everything I was not. Days passed. Then weeks. She messaged a few times. Casual, empty text pretending nothing had happened. I didn't respond. I knew where that road led. I knew how easy it would be to fall back into the cycle of false promises and emotional crumbs. But I also knew how hard I had fought to finally choose myself. One afternoon, I passed by the little cafe where we used to spend long hours pretending we were happy. And I felt nothing, no ache, no bitterness. just a stillness in my chest. Sometimes strength isn't about holding on tighter. Sometimes the strongest thing you'll ever do is let go and mean it.